FURIA might be up to the task. Obviously, we haven't seen Empire on this map in quite some time, so could be pretty fun. I'm pretty sure everyone remembers the longest game that's ever been played in competitive history, as they were a part of that, and we're back in sunny Ibiza to try and see if we can do it all over again.
Coastline been a pretty popular pick, I've noticed, at this event when compared to what I've been seeing, at least outside of the NAL. And while that's, of course, that's only a small picture, it's good to see it coming out more here at our first international event in well over a year. First ban's coming up onto the board, and FURIA is going to have the two outside ones, meaning they get the first attacker ban and final defender ban. They're going to knock out Thatcher here first. He's been a pretty much common removal among all of our games so far throughout SI.
Yeah, absolutely. Thatcher, I don't think that anyone doesn't have any history with a Thatcher ban inside of their lives. You know, obviously, one of the most prolific offenders, as well as Capital, going to be removed. And not a bad pickup for Coastline, obviously, as usually Capital, especially with those arrows, so potent at making those defenders move and just really being able to break up lines of sight and things like that. But obviously, well, my able to counter that out as well. But either way, we're not going to have to worry too much about that. VALKYRIE going to be removed from Team Empire as well. She's not been seeing the most love at this tournament, but pretty interesting one coming in here at the very tail end. It's Smoke off the board from FURIA. Could be a target ban up against Shepard.
Yeah, obviously, Smoke being a pretty interesting one there, as to a certain extent, it will be self-immolation for FURIA as well, since they'll have to deal with removing him. Smoke being one of the common operators being brought on defensive lineups due to the potency of his delay utility. So it's very rarely that we see him getting banned out because he's such a mainstay. But clearly, that is going to be different for FURIA inside of this matchup. They'll be starting out on defense as well, so they'll have the most immediate consequence of that ban, as they're going to go for a blue and sunrise bar hold in the first round.
Yeah, not only that, but with a frost as well. So we'll probably see those frost mats on those windows. But still, just looking across the board here for the bans in comparison to the past history with both of these squads. Not too much coming through here for Team Empire. Obviously, in the last 6 months, they've only played this one time. They ended up banning Nomad on offense the previous time, as well as Valk on defense. So at least that's staying the same. But the Capital ban starts to make more sense when you look over at FURIA's operator stats, as they actually use Capital a decent amount on this map. He's got a pretty damn good win rate as well. 50% of the time he wins whenever they bring him, and they've been bringing him 67% of the time. So just good research here by Team Empire to take something away from FURIA that they hold dear.
Of course, in the last matchup, we saw Team Empire play on this match earlier in the tournament. Managed to take 3 rounds on the attacking side, 4 on the defense, in order to get them their ultimate win, as they started out on attack there as well. So it's familiar territory for them in terms of what they faced off against Cloud9 just a few days ago. Just have to repeat the same steps once more against a team from a different region. We'll have to see if FURIA are up for the task. Still setting up here as we get into the actual action phase. A real bunker being deployed there by the pool door entry, as the Frost is looking for a proper position to put that deployable shield down to. That's not the only position we're going to see hard locks for the defenders, though. Ice also in position to fend off the front door assault, and it's going to work out here. Dan goes down. High's looking for more, also getting into a fight over by Theater. Also, Joystick going to be brought down to just around 25 HP as a result of that. Scyther from outside of VIP, though, will find the first mark from Empire as they trade it down to a 4v4.
Well, FURIA keeping the wheels of war turning. An initial frag, but Nami's Fancy going down as well, but traded out for Dan. Either way, the Calamity is going to come to a pause just for a moment while Team Empire try to find some more information. But the thing about it is that FURIA have not slowed up this train at all. It seems like all gas, no brakes for the day as they continue to roam around this top floor in pretty convincing fashion, just trying to hold on to as much map control as possible. Do remember that we are on double bar. This is not going to be hookah, so this top floor entry point, pretty solid here from Empire, but they're going to have to use the verticality somehow or be punished by it, as Rare's down low inside of Kitchen. Has a hole for Guitar, only deals a little damage to Always, but he's going to make it by with about 5 HP.
They're looking around that corner. Empire overall with a very healthy amount of control upstairs, and in reality, only half the round being played out here so far, so still plenty of time for Empire to make their final assault onto the site. As you'll see, though, 0 control leading over towards that office here, and that's usually a very important starting point for attacks from that direction, so FURIA still going to have a bunker to play off of with that, and of course, as you guys just saw on the kill feed, another frag to go into their favor also. They're Always in Dan, now down for Empire. It's up to Joystick, Scyther, and Shepard to turn this round back.
Well, with Empire in a really solid position up top, they're going to need to initiate the clear down low, especially with this pick onto Miracle. This is looking pretty solid for them going into now what could be a possible 3v2 if they are able to get Miracle actually picked up. But FURIA actually might be the ones to do so, and it looks like they will. So 3v3 going into the dying moments here. But either way, Empire have what it takes in order to get into the site as of right now. Still have 2 grenades on site. They still have Joystick with info as well as Smokes, and Shepard with multiple Selmas still on his person. But shifting gears now for FURIA. They want more as they'll take down Scyther here in 30 seconds.
Largest impact inside of this round coming from Miracle so far for FURIA on the Frost as well, fending off at least 2 different opponents from that pull door position. Now Shepard could very well become the 3rd if he's not careful here. Only 12 seconds remaining. Shepard looking for anything that could allow them to enter in, and you can see the rotate wall is also electrocuted. They're going to take damage as they move in. That's a 3rd down for Miracle here now. Finally going to get traded out by Joystick, but it doesn't matter. He's out of time, and the defenders have claimed round 1. It goes to FURIA as they'll take the initial lead on the double bar defense.
Beautiful round there from FURIA, and way to get on the gas early. That's the biggest thing, as Team Empire initiate their clear up top and FURIA continue to send roamers over to their locations and continue to bug them. That was the biggest thing. Obviously, some kills came later on. We had that initial contact over near the theater area, but it was mostly FURIA just sending those roamers to annoy Empire, get them to constantly think, hey, someone's going to be on rotation. We have to worry about this, and they delay that timer further and further until Team Empire really don't have a chance to properly execute onto site. They're low manned and they're outgunned when it came down to it. FURIA was really solid position inside of the site, and Empire had no insight as to where they were playing.
All right, so a good beginning for Empire on a somewhat off-meta site to start off with there as they go downstairs a little. Coastline a little bit more free-flowing in that respect than some of the other maps, in my opinion. So now we're going to return to the old standard, at least as far as most players at home watching this are concerned. That's going to be the hookah and billiards site defense. We can already see the usual reinforcements going down here for FURIA. Nothing out of the ordinary in that respect from what I can see, and the same would be deployed for the operator lineup. Although we are going to see a Cade coming into the mix here with an interesting electrical going down, I think, into the metal bars to make it a little more difficult to find in the midst of this round here, and hopefully disallowing Empire from opening one of those 3 walls, and of course getting much greater view onto the site itself, taking away that security from FURIA. Rare though. Just gonna throw a normal one down though after playing with it for a bit, not happy with the position he had before.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that arch is gonna ring or reach out far enough to get all of the panels that he exactly wanted, but that's something that's quite unique. And when it comes down to it, guys, you got a drone stuff. That's 20 seconds in, you got a drone service or something. I mean, come on. Either way though, that's gonna be a big pickup onto Joystick, and that's going to be really hard fought for Team Empire, losing him so early on. He's been the #1 fragger so far here at Invitational, the first player to crack 100 kills, and he's dusted extremely early on here. FURIA firing on all cylinders to start the day.
2 times in a row now that FURIA have gotten the opening pick from that front door position. I believe the kill came from the inside of Bathroom, which is slightly different than the last round as it happened on top of White Stairs, but still gotta watch out for that because they are clearly playing into that position. Now the good news is Empire are not going to have to worry about a 2-floor take necessarily here, but they still have to be cognizant of what's going on down on the first floor due to the rotate capability that FURIA are going to have in this match. That was the problem in the last round there. They had no problem clearing out the top room and trying to transition themselves into a lower floor attack, but just could not deal with the utility setup from FURIA, especially near the pull door inside of Sunrise Bar. So we'll see if the more streamlined attack procedure on the upstairs hold is going to be better at all here for Empire.
Well, now what gets worrisome is the fact that we saw Team Empire inside of that low-timed, 3v3, not have enough insight to actually get a proper execute onto site or deal with any of the players truly. So losing Joystick here and losing that Jackal makes this all the more difficult. You can no longer track anybody's feet. You don't have any smokes to be able to break up lines of sight, inside of sight if you so choose. So obviously it's going to be quite the detriment here, especially with how FURIA have been playing. They are not afraid to get aggressive. You can even see Miracle working his angles here at the back of Billiards and seeing if you can possibly get a frag inside of VIP Hall. I'm loving this setup here for them as they've got a lot of off angles to be able to use to continue to apply this pressure to Team Empire, who are currently looking for an Aqua take.
Yeah, being cautious here as they clear out Aqua to make sure no one from FURIA is holding an aggressive angle that they wouldn't have been able to catch immediately on their initial drone clear here. Nades are going to roll out, and that's a pretty good nade too, as it does deal with the Electroclaw on the triple wall inside of Billiards. So now we'll be able to open that up as you're seeing them take care of right now. That's coming in from the Selmas, and that'll obviously allow anybody on the roof or even the luggage hallway to get a much greater view into the site. Look at this position from Highs, though. Has a tiny little bullet hole to spray through. In fact, he's got some client side debris in his way right there, but of course, at home, he wouldn't have seen that. Shepard, though, able to find out Highs first, and Dan finds another pick. One response will come in from Rare on Furia's side, but that's it. That's only evened us into a 3v3. It's cautious enough, though, to stop a plan attempt from Empire, and oh no, now the case has gone down. That's a big pick from Lenda, always moving in, finding another frag. Here the case goes down just in time, but now all they have to do is deny it. It's an easy task for Miracle, and Furia take the second round.
But what a fantastic attempt there by Empire. They're able to at least push in through Aqua. Yes, Shepard isn't able to attempt an actual plant, but still, a valiant effort, nonetheless, by Team Empire. They push always downstairs to try and get the frag so no impacts or nitro cells or anything of the sort can come through into Blue Bar and kill the planter. But the issue is they finally get the frag down there. The other two members of Furia, though, up top, ready to take control of the planter. And with no Overwatch after Shepard dies, that is all she wrote for Team Empire inside of that round. But either way, they have got to figure out these opening engagements, guys. It comes down to the info game. They don't know what Furia are doing inside of the map. And yes, Furia have been playing some info denial, obviously. We've seen Mute inside of that last round. The previous round before that one, not so much. But these Mute jammers are not spread all around the map, especially not over near the service area. So it just begs the question, what is Team Empire doing with their drone game? Because they should be knowing where these initial contact points are going to be, especially if they're going to force lobby in such aggressive fashion.
That Electroclaw was interesting right there, getting chucked up onto the ceiling. We'll come back to that in a minute, because I think it aligns with the VIP double, if I saw it get thrown correctly. Might align with these hallway walls as well here that they're putting up now. Okay, or not. I'm just waiting for the electricity to spread out here. So I know we saw it get chucked a minute ago. They are out on the field, as Rare doesn't have them, but trying to see where exactly they're going to get used on the inside of this round. Big setup on 90, though, in the meantime, that we can see here coming out from Furia. All three ADSs and two of the Goyo shields. That second Electroclaw also going down over here on the inside of Theater.
Still trying to see what that other Electroclaw is for.
I'm like, I completely... It's reinforcing right now.
Yeah, I agree it's supposed to be for that 90 wall. I'm pretty sure, because that makes it to where obviously Ace can't just like walk up top, get on VIP balcony and pop the wall like Shepard has been doing. And that's something that Furia would want to stop, especially with all those ADSs there. But yeah, I agree. I think that it missed and they'd have to go back and end up fixing it. But it doesn't look like they exactly have that info. So more than likely going to be a free 90 wall for Empire. But either way, they're out onto the field and they will bring Scyther, guys. Hey, look at that. Switching things up onto the Yana. So very aware of how this info has been affecting their gameplay and hoping that a couple of these holograms can assist.
That 90 hold is going to get immediately tested, and if you're correct in assuming so, that botched Electroclaw is really going to come back to haunt them now, because immediately Rare's position has been compromised as a result of the fact that they don't have the additional reinforcement on that wall.
And that's going to be a very difficult position for him to play now overall, even with the ADSs there, just because the angle so difficult for him to use. And, oh, Lenda dying to the oldest trick in the book, I see. The drone hull for Stalls takes him down as Empire finally find their first blood.
Always ready to put some more pressure here for Empire into Theater. Making sure that they can finish off taking out the top control here. This has been a common issue for them. Though, thrown in between the metal bars from down below in service, takes out Always, and it's going to cause more respect to come out here from Empire. More slow, calculated play, which is what has allowed Furia to bleed out the time on these previous two rounds. Furia are playing this perfectly right now.
This is going so very well for them, especially with how things started off with Shepard getting that wall open and obviously walking Kaid back. Rare not being able to be as effective inside of that 90 position as he once wanted to, but they've still been able to hold on to this top area. The issue is now, though, that Joystick is on the prowl. Goyo Shield will hold him back, at least for the time being, but he'll get some footprints in order to scan out the Jaeger. The Jaeger being Fancy as he moves up. Oh no, two big shots from Empire as they take down Rare and Fancy. It's all down to Highs and Miracle left alive, and it's Highs now on the rotation. Not able to get the frag initially, but he cleans up Scyther 2v3 as Empire hightail it to the site.
Here's the problem, though. Miracle is stuck in a very hard position to play from. He's going to get flanked out in a second here if he's not cautious. Trying to play the M590, but can't make the shot connect. Shepard takes him down, leaves Highs alone in a 1v3. Initial gunfight taken is not going to be advantageous to Highs here either. Trying to spray and trying to line up the headshot, but can't get it done. Team Empire clean up the sweep, mop up the resistance, and finally put a round on the board here.
Much better round there. I like the adjustment from Scyther going back to the Yana from round 1. It seems like they're getting a lot more traction with that instead of the Sledge. Always is still finding effectiveness inside of the soft breach department, so not exactly needed as of right now, but still might be worth a change down the road if they think they could possibly get some more verticality into play. But with how FURIA is currently playing, I feel like the info game is going to continue to work out for them, especially if they're able to get so much pressure early on. Really like how they abused the 90 setup there, and what they actually were able to do with Theater and everything above before transitioning into that bottom floor take. And obviously with Team Empire, there's a lot of moving parts going on while they're doing that top floor clear and, you know, finishing things up there. They still have people down low, outside of service and things along these lines to try and lock down these FURIA members. And that was the first time that we really got to see it go off without a hitch. So now I want to see how FURIA is going to react up against Team Empire.
Interesting choice from FURIA. They're going to go back into the service and kitchen hold here. They do have the double bar unlocked for play now, since it's been 2 rounds since they won it. So could have gone back to that, and that was probably one of their cleanest rounds.
There it is.
There we go. There's the electrical going down. Hopefully this time it connects. So that was the setup they wanted to do. More than likely, the thought pattern for FURIA right now is, okay, that botched electric claw basically makes that last round a fluke. So let's try this again with the right setup and hope things go a little better.
You could say it was a rare missed electro claw.
What?
No? Yes? Okay, I'm just messing with you.
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you weren't supposed to get it. It was a terrible joke.
I'm gonna have to explain that one later.
Dude, no. Like, as in he rarely misses. This is a terrible joke. Terrible joke. Not supposed to be funny in the slightest. Either way, though, I'm happy that they got the electro claw back down because it's much needed. Because you can see Empire already setting up on VIP again. Shepard's going to simply move to the VIP double and see what's going on inside of here. But the difference is now is they have to deal with this electro claw. Not only is the electro claw holding down that wall, but it's also located inside of kitchen. So this is going to be quite the tall task for Empire to at least handle that panel now, especially without having something like Thatcher on the board and available. So we'll have to see how they try and deal with this. But either way, it's going to be the same setup here from FURIA, although Rare will be starting back at the top of white.
Yeah, a little bit of deja vu here, as everything for Team Empire is going exactly the same as they took it in the previous round, with the obvious exception of they're going to get slowed down quite a bit here as they try to move from VIP out towards 90. They got a drone there to try to set up this pre-fire angle for Always and allowed him to take a very forward position on the inside of the bedroom early on, but now going to have to work a little bit harder to work their way in. One of those 2 walls is going to be left partially exposed here, as actually that's some really nice usage of the Selma, getting it slightly off to the side so it's not affected by the electric claw and still takes down that part of the wall. Joystick now going to be able to find Highs as well in a detached fight, taking out the Malusi from the engagement. Still going to keep Rare alive, though, at the top of the stairs, but no, Joystick still going to be able to carry through with the fragging power here as he gets his second and clears out that top white hold.
Oh, mind like a trap for Joystick, like he's got active radar right now. Empire are all over FURIA. This top hold doesn't stand a chance. Everyone gone. Now down to Miracle and Lenda to try and pick up the pieces of this FURIA defense, and it all starts now. Lenda trying to get the initial frag, but I believe it's onto a hologram. They now know there's only one person on site, and that's going to be Miracle. Lenda will move forward, though, try to hold down Kitchen Hall as well as just outside of Kitchen Door. Don't want Empire to try and hold on to this lower vibes area, but it doesn't seem like it could even really be the area for them to attack just yet. It seems like we will have Joystick adjust, almost get a quad here as he will down Lenda. That'll at least be the triple. Dan will clean it all up, and Empire with a flawless round after some beautiful vertical play.
So it seems the Electric Claw was not the be-all, end-all solution, unfortunately, for FURIA. In fact, that round overall plays out a lot worse than the previous attempt. So more than likely going to see FURIA bypass that site going into round 5 here and trying to play into a different area of the map. And we'll be immediately correct about that. They're going to go to Hookah Billiards here, not surprised by that choice whatsoever.
Yeah, just really, really difficult there for Furia. Like after the setup had already been, read through for Empire, because obviously they did indeed get that top clear upstairs, and that means you're more than likely able to see everything that the defense is setting up, whether it be ADSs, shields, reinforcements and stuff like that. And if they're going to go back to that site, you can use that insight going into the next round. And I think that's something that we saw Joystick use there extremely, extremely well. And it's something that we're used to seeing from him as well. He's been a very dominant force inside of Rainbow Six Siege for so very long. Now back at this tournament, seemingly running it up once again. Most kills, obviously, as we were talking about earlier, which is pretty unique. And speaking of unique things, seems like we might have a pretty unique setup here with the FURIA gates coming in, John. This is something that somebody told me about on Twitter a couple days ago that they saw. I believe it was even FURIA doing with their FURIA gates, which is you punch two little holes there for your bulletproof camera, and you slap one of your laser gates on the front of it. And now not only can they not get your bulletproof cam, but they have to burn two pieces of utility if they truly want it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually pretty smart how they put the bulletproof cam like slightly indented into the soft destruction there, because just that alone like makes the angle super awkward to try and kill it. So that's a price little adjustment there from Furia, just to add a bit of extra frustration more than anything for Team Empire on the utility clear. So we'll see how this works out here with the FURIA gates more likely getting added to that as well. There's one deployed now, so High says that out on the map. Furia still looking for that opening pick by Lamborghini Doorway here. Got the first 2 rounds. We're probably gonna get the engagement again. Oh, Dan. At least Fantasy so close to lining each other up there, but missing it by just a hair as they're going to end up backing away. Dan will have free reign to push in through the front door, but will still have to be cautious, of course, of the players sitting inside the bathroom.
Well, risky early engagements for both of these squads as, well, the opening kill has decided the round winner every single time so far throughout all of these rounds so far. I'll see if it's going to be the same here for round 5, as Empire still starting things off quite strong and in quite similar fashion. Holding onto the rotation for bottom of white is Dan, still working that top floor, having always pop the wall for guitar and start clearing out this top floor. Now they just need some information on where these members are, and they can start looking for these opening kills. But Furia playing this one a little bit closer to the chest. They've been opening kill 2 times in a row now, and they're not looking for the 3-peat.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, I'm going to try to play this a little bit closer to the site itself, as well as having a slight position extended down onto the first floor there too. Now Empire starting to get the message as they focus a bit on their roof clear here. Sending a few players up to be in position for that. And Dan, probably not alone here, Dan, either. I know he's got support from Shepard, and there we go. Yep, another 2 players, in fact, supporting him by the top white position to make this more than likely their main route of pushing between, of course, the 90 hallway itself and luggage, which they now seem to be defaulting to due to some extra utility resistance at the end of the main 90 hallway on the other side of the map here. Aqua, more likely going to be the better choice for them as they get into the last minute of the round.
One looks to be an Aqua clear here, as you said. Nothing crazy so far in between these two, especially from stark contrast across these last 4 rounds where it seemed like we could not get away from gunfights, but it might start now. Joystick with a great move into kitchen, secures rear down low. The nitro cell play would probably be there, and he would be correct. Now Empire attempt to clear as many player positions as possible. Aware of someone possibly playing the back of billiards here in couches or pink, whatever you want to call it personally. Going to clean up that ADS with that secondary frag grenade, but no other frag to actually be able to clear that out. Fancy on the run out will be able to clean up Dan, but now Empire come through with full force. Smokes down Shepard planning, and it seems like it will be done. Joystick with yet another frag from behind, always hopping into the pile as well. It's all down to Highs now to try and pick this up, but the Highs, well, they're coming crashing down. Empire with 3 rounds in a row now as they take this hookah offense.
Empire starting to get way too much control over the early round here and exercising that. You could tell how Furia have tried to adjust for this by playing a lot further back, a lot more passively, but save for the one duel that goes on by the hookah doorway, just none of those opening fights going their way, and Empire having too much positioning close to the site to battle back at that point. They close the jaw, snap shut, take control of the site, and Furia are not left with enough manpower to resist it at that point, giving Empire their 3rd round inside of this half and sending Furia back to the only other other site they've won so far, which is Blue Bar and Sunrise.
Yeah, and this is something that we've talked about with Empire for a very long time. You do not want to let these guys execute. Their executes go off without a hitch all of the time, able to get that plant down quite a bit, as we've seen with Shepard's stats, not only inside of the EUL, but also here at Invite. But either way, FURIA have had a higher success rate with getting these opening kills and playing for those mid-round engagements than turtling up or anything else of the sort. I would like to see them try and get back to more of an action-packed open first 2 minutes instead of trying to slow things up, because I think that's exactly what Team Empire want them to do. As long as FURIA are being passive, Empire can clear out all of the top floor, really any part of the map, obviously, that they want control of with the utility that they're bringing to the table and the likes of Jackal and Yana, and just make their life a lot easier. They don't have to worry about these FURIA members getting in their face as much inside of that first minute 30, but I definitely like to see them try and shift back to that and see if it has any effectiveness over Empire. We are already going to be making an adjustment, though, as Linda will pick up the pulse for some more insight.
Empire out and about primarily from the front of the map here. Going to see how quickly they try to work their way in, as we have a relatively fast pace, but going to be seeing Fancy once again look to resist this push. As FURIA still holding on to that Lamborghini hold. It's been netting them the early kill in those opening 2 rounds, but as we touched on in the last round, unfortunately, it hasn't been the case since then, as Empire has been dominating 3 rounds straight now on the later portion of this half. About to make it 4 if they can close this one down. FURIA, of course, with a very large spread across the map, trying to play into the winning strategy from back in round 1, but this is a much different game than it was back then, and I'm not sure FURIA's strength here, especially in the roam game, is going to be enough to best Empire. But let's find out here, as Empire are about to start moving in to take control, specifically over here towards the pool door, where Empire had the largest amount of struggles back in round 1.
Oh, and Empire so strong right now inside of this opening first minute. And it's just the amount of control that they have over the squad. They just do not overstep very often. It's such a beautiful thing, especially for siege terms, because that's something we see happen quite often with those opening kills. Empire holding on to VIP balcony instead of immediately moving in, avoiding the nitro cells. They let Joystick rotate up top, start taking control of Aqua, and just using their drone intel early on before they start this clear. So now they have free top control. Can start applying a pressure down low to double bar. They just need to make sure to lock down both of the stairwells before they do so. Now, FURIA still up and about, though. Not a single opening kill or any damage dealt to anyone just yet, and that could bode well for FURIA, as they've brought the Nitro Cell posse. Still have 2 Nitro Cells left to use, as we've had 2 go off, but with Lenda here, these could actually end up picking up some very impactful frags.
It's gone all quiet across pretty much the entire map here. Both teams still at full strength. Empire not wanting to be the team right now to make the first move. They're hoping they can find it through utility, and thankfully for them, they're right. First kill picked up. Joystick follows it up with a second. Miracle will, however, be able to take down Dan. And Rare still holding in the bathroom, but that doesn't matter against Joystick. He's now at double digits as he claims his 10th frag against Rare and leaves it all on Miracle and Highs. Scratch that. Just Highs now in the 1v4. Not even on the site either. The Nitro's out. Doesn't go over the breach, and unfortunately on the animation to get back to his gun. Always swings for the peak, takes down Highs, and secures the 4th attacking round for Empire at the end of the first half.
Oh, it's just so very difficult for FURIA to try and procure a kill right now. It seems like the only way they're able to do so is off trades, but even inside of that round, Empire is so very dominant. They only lost a single member of the squad. Looking so good right now on that first half, but we'll be switching sides here, as FURIA will claim offense now for round 7 and beyond, unless we go to overtime, where we'll have to see, well, how things will lay down then. But either way, long road ahead of them, given that circumstance. Hookah and Billiards for the first defense here for Empire, and that offense overall, they had the first 2 rounds up against FURIA, right? FURIA very dominant inside of those opening engagements, like we were talking about. It seemed like the first minute 30, first 2 minutes, they simply were just having everyone everywhere, and there really wasn't a chance for Empire to get their feet and actually get prepared to attack FURIA, get inside of these engagements and things along those lines. They just simply weren't set up yet. Then we move on to round 3, where kitchen service is the site for defense. defense. Furia aren't able to defend the top floor correctly. They botch the Kaid Electro Claw, and 90's given up immediately, where Empire are finally able to translate that into a nice play down low. But the next round immediately after that, they practically eviscerate the entire kitchen and then just seal the deal with Hookah into our last round that you guys just saw. So Empire with a great half with 4 rounds in a row there to push us to their defensive side.
Yeah, Furia trying to over-adjust, in my opinion, a little bit by pulling back the early roam game in order to...
It was so good, right?
Yeah, it was a good adjustment, just didn't really end up seeing results come out of it as well there, unfortunately, due to the fact that, like I said, playing so close to the site, those initial losses on those initial gunfights still had much greater consequences for map control for Furia playing on their defense. Now, as we get into the second half here, always immediately trying to steal the thunder away from Furia as they try to find the very same opening kill that Furia had at the very beginning of this map. I just said very like 7 times in the same sentence, but moving on.
And actually, I was gonna say, like,
new challenge. I have to not say that word the rest of the game.
Oh, Joystick's gotta not die here with a pistol in his hands. He's 11-2-1 right now, and apparently he's feeling himself. Oh, well, I mean, to be completely honest, has there ever been a day where Joystick wasn't feeling himself? Let's be honest here. He's just, if he has the shotgun, I'm actually gonna cry. I think he does. There's no way he's playing this out with his pistol right now. If he has the primary shotgun on Legion,
there's no way he's been on the pistol this long.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's like, guys, don't worry.
Unless his T5 is out of ammo and he's just like really paranoid about someone pushing him right now. That's the only other excuse that he would have. But I'm pretty sure Sam's right here.
He could have reloaded his primary SMG like 4 times by now. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he's got the shotgun, but if he does, he's totally going to get a kill with it and make us never mind. Caster Curse, there it was. Boop. All right. And we're never going to know. We will never know the history of Joystick and his shotgun, or if Shepard's going to be able to clutch up the round because he's also dead. Furia looking really solid so far on this opening offense, able to clear out Empire's roam, especially with Joystick's play inside of Sunrise.
Scyther with a nice follow-up here, finally putting some damage onto the Furia roster, but at this point it's a small gesture, only the Ash, and while we would talk about this being a big deal in the early round, at a 4v3 scenario with Furia already having a plethora of map controls spread around the complex at this point, not going to be a pretty massive loss, especially considering the overall scoreline for Fancy so far. Always responding for Empire here. Oh, the second one rolls right up after that as well. Bye-bye to Lenda. Hello to an advantage for Empire as they've now turned this round on its heels and are about to go up to 5 if they can deal with rare and highs.
And this is what makes Empire so very dangerous, is they can take the script at any moment in time and just flip it on its head. Furia with the advantage this entire round up until this singular moment where Always grabs the reins and pulls it away from Furia. Back in the driver's seat and on the gas, Dan takes down Rare. It's all left up to Highs as he's currently repelled on Aqua Balk, looking for the frag inside of Luggage. He'll hop on up, Nitro Cell out, won't get him, but Scyther still will be confirmed. It's a 1v2, it's Hookah as well, so he'll have an opportunity here, but is he aware of the cross? He's not. Always securing a triple inside of round 7, takes it to Furia.
Gonna be a little hard to predict the double stack on the inside of Luggage. Even though it was the player who picked up a multi-frag earlier, unfortunately just not much left in the playbook for that last member of Furia. They'll have to take the L on the initial round of the second half, and that's going to continue to put them into a more dangerous position here. A 3-round deficit, a massive deal in siege terms here. So for Team Empire, just 2 rounds away from closing this out, and with a solid turnaround on the inside of that round, Furia going to take their pause, figure out what exactly was going wrong on that initial round and how they can quickly fix this to avoid a shutdown at 7-2.
Well, thinking through this, okay, so Furia are able to secure their opening frag on Joystick inside of Sunrise, right? So that's going to tell us that they're clearing out that bottom area a little bit. Obviously, there's some insight downstairs, obviously, with Joystick peeking the Sunrise window and other stuff going on. So they're able to secure that first frag. We see Shepard go down as well. He's playing Maestro, so more than likely on site. So no real attentive things going on for Furia up top. So they transition into that later on, but it seems like Always has been existing here the entire time, and he goes completely unchecked, able to secure the first double kill initially with back-to-back really nice frags. Loved what he was able to produce there on Aqua Balk there at the very tail end of that. But either way, FURIA just not having the insight on that top floor to deal with always or that double stack inside of luggage. Yes, the opening was nice for them, but if they wanted that top control, they needed the info to go along with it.
Obviously, it didn't mean anything in the overall scope of the round because we never saw it come out, but just confirming, Joystick did have the shotgun right there. Someone tweeted at me. Thank you to @PirateSpy on Twitter for confirming that for us. So,
hey, shout out to Pirate Spy.
Joystick really feeling himself in that last round, even though we didn't get much from it. We're going to see the Lion come out here for FURIA now. This should be an interesting change because they have had some issues just in that first round, of course, dealing with some of the early pressure from Empire, so this should certainly help to alleviate some of those concerns. It's going to be a double bar defense from Empire, however.
You know the funniest thing about that shotgun is for Legion? It's suppressed. Did you know that? It's a suppressed shotgun. Yes, it has the fattest suppressor on it I've ever seen in my entire life. You know, even fatter than like the TCSGs. It's like this massive nub. It's insane. Anyways, we're more than likely going to see him with a T5 or anything in the future if he does end up going back over to Legion, but that's not going to be the case as of right now. Joystick on the mute, which means that we're going to have one of the most potent fraggers in the entire world with the SMG-11 in hand. We'll see what he's able to produce.
Need to find out. We've got the true laser gate, the laser box being set up here on the inside of the pull door outside of Sunrise. So Team Empire really looking for the lockdown on that, similarly to how FURIA was on their initial defense of this site at the beginning of the game. We'll now get a chance to see how FURIA deals with, at least in part, what is their own setup here, as they'll have to assault this. They want to try to take Sunrise. There is also, of course, the office option also. So plenty of options for FURIA to try to attack this site with its early days in the round. So they'll be taking at least this first minute or two to explore the map additionally with their drones. More importantly, try to see if they can isolate out any of the extended players from Empire. And assuming they can't, well, it's time to fall all in on that execute. First E1D charge going to come out there in terms of hunting down those extended players. But from what I can see, no pings coming. So no information going over to the side of FURIA. Just trying to deal with this utility stack on the inside of the site, but so much in the way of it. ADSs and everything else. It's making it hard, but at the same time, Miracle still going to be able to find an opening pick against Dan, as FURIA will get the opening advantage.
So far so good for FURIA. 6 pick coming through for Miracle off of the Hibana over to the Lion, and already found some effectiveness with him. Granted, through the main gun, not really through the EE1Ds. Not too much just yet, but obviously goes without saying that thing can have effectiveness that we are not exactly aware of, as everyone has to stand still yet again because of what Miracle has brought to the table. Looks like FURIA now want to deal with this top floor control, but there's really minimal, at least right now for Empire. Looks to be more of a horizontal hold than anything, as it appears that we still have an Empire member, yes, always over near lobby, and especially with how things are broken up for Blue Bar, does have an opportunity to prevent here if they want to plant. Still have Scyther down low inside of office as well. This is being played out so well from Empire. They're holding on to the bottom floor so very well right now. Hopefully going to be able to transition this into something inside of this dying minute.
Time continuing to tick down, and relative silence spanning across the map here right now. FURIA primed and ready to move in, but no follow-up coming in just as of yet here. High's taking the upstairs control in Hookah. Gonna try to open up POVs down below, but with such a little time left, not going to really have time to optimize these, just playing whack-a-mole here and hoping he comes out a winner. Fancy as well, ready to move in downstairs, as is Rare outside of the pool door. Gonna more than likely have to end up waltzing through the laser gates though, or use one, possibly both of the smoke grenades in order to get past these Rooney gates that are still set up. Other support is available though. I believe the Zofia joining up with that push behind Rare, but they need to commit to it now. 17 seconds left. Shepard has the immediate cutoff to move in from the side entrance here, but no! He's gonna get taken down instead by Lenda. Miracle also finding always. Scyther now the last hope from Empire, trying to hold on, but can't get the job done. It's Lenda instead that shuts it down for FURIA as they take the 8th round.
Very well done from FURIA. Able to get so many frags on Empire early on here, and then eventually roll it on down to sight. Nice stuff, especially dealing with the player Shepard right outside kitchen and waiting for any peek that possibly came from towels. Either way, though, Empire stunted as of right now, not able to get up onto map and match points. FURIA still inside of the running as we're headed over towards kitchen service, and it looks like Empire might want to throw a wrench into the plans of FURIA. We currently have an Oryx locked, but could possibly have a 6-pick later on.
Once again, this will really play into the timing aspect of this game more than anything, especially considering that we're going to have an upstairs clear come in for FURIA on this site. They'll have to be watching not only the stair rotation positions, but the hatches as well now due to the addition of an Oryx into the play here. One of the few operators that can traverse hatches naturally from the bottom up.
Oh, we are going back in time, ladies and gentlemen. Back to a land where, well, I'll be honest, I didn't have the most fun playing this game. It's Dokkaebi Lion. This combo right here.
Notice that.
Yeah, this combo right here, it sadly has stood the test of time. It's one that it's just not fun. Let's be honest. You get sat still. You get a phone call inbound. It's your ex. She's ringing your phone while people are trying to shoot at you, and now they know where you are. It's just the worst thing ever, you know. And so that's what Empire are going to have to deal with, and especially with how they have been playing this game so far. Granted, that last defensive round, not exactly aggressive, but we did see Joystick, you know, try and get down with a couple of things. Just didn't really work out for him inside of that round. But either way, I think this is still going to be kind of helpful for FURIA. The only thing I can see going wrong, though, is they didn't bring any hard destruction. And that's something that we saw Empire use on this exact site to the utmost of its potential to not only create new lines of sight, but apply so much pressure to FURIA, make it quite difficult for them to try and combat back.
It's two very different styles of philosophies right now with the way these teams are trying to play the game. FURIA is trying to speed it up, or at least speed the initial roam clear up. Empire's trying to extend that as long as possible and bringing the Oryx into the fold. That first phone call, I believe, going out as well. So already using about 40% of that info utility that's spread between Dokkaebi as well as the Lion being played by Miracle. Still going to make it very difficult, though, for Empire to do anything because they're dealing with the EU1D, and then about 10 seconds after that, they've got to find a corner to turn their phones off. But Joystick walks it out, even misses the first shot. He's gonna take down Lenda. He doesn't give a crap. Just rolling right out there for the kill.
Well, I mean, that's just Siege in a nutshell, man. If you know what your opponent's gonna do, you're probably gonna be able to get the kill. And High's ready for Joystick to start peeking things again, and he gets the frag. But either way, Joystick just simply steps out with the two-shotty Bugatti and gives it straight to Lenda. That was insane. But either way, it's gonna be the opening kills done and dusted in between these two. We still have 1 minute and 30 left of action inside of round 9, although Team Empire looked to take this with their defensive position as of right now. Cypher still at the top of white, although Rare will be hacking cams right now. That's something big inside of the Dokkaebi kit. Now they'll have access to all of those cameras, including those evil eyes, for insight as to what their defense is doing. So could be a solid last minute here for FURIA, but they still have to worry about this top hold.
Very tricky spiderweb being set up right now across both teams, as there are huge swaths of the map that neither FURIA nor Team Empire have solid intel on what's currently going on in them. So a lot of chaos going to be unfolding over these next few seconds. Here's one really good example of it. Dan, inches away from someone on the other side of that doorway, only just now noticing because of a sound cue. I'm gonna have to fall back on a drone to make up the difference. In another fight, Scyther finding impact. Shepard as well catching Fancy, moving out from the mid courtyard, taking him down and bringing us into a 4v2. Empire still have pressure upstairs and luggage as well from Scyther and in multiple other parts of this map. This 2vx is not going to be an easy task in any way, shape, or form here, as it's now left down to the 2 intel ops. They have none of their utility remaining, no phone calls, no drone pings. They're going in blind here. 1 drone spread between each of them that they could try to use, but that's it.
Well, they do have some stuns, and, well, they have at least an opportunity here. It's just going to require a lot in an opening frag, but they're not even going to give them that. Miracle gets one before he hops the window, and Scyther, well, he deals him his end as FURIA not able to continue their reign here on their offense, allowing Empire up onto map point. And this is looking quite dire for them in their current situation. Yes, the double down on the aggressive clear is able to at least get some semblance of map control. But as you said, Empire existing in parts of the map that they really shouldn't have been able to with Dokkaebi and Lion up on the board. There's just areas that FURIA either aren't concerned with or just haven't truly been focused on in order to procure. And instead they start losing members. They have to go for a very poor execute with only 2 members remaining. It's just not looking good for them right now, and the scoreboard is proving that as well. Top frag being Miracle at 9-1-7, 3 people at 4 kills, and a breadstick sitting there as well.
We see the chaos theory come in now for Furia here as they'll bring a Ying into the fold on their 6 pick. So truly going to try and make this as crazy of a round as possible here, as now they're fighting for survival, trying to take this to OT, and they need 3 consecutive rounds in a row to do so, with Team Empire just claiming their penultimate round on the last. We're going to see them go upstairs into hookah and billiards as well, so going to be one of the more difficult sites for Furia to try and claim, but also at the same time one of the more straightforward when it comes to strategy. So we'll see if they're up to the challenge and can at least begin on a path towards a comeback.
Yeah, Furia apparently dropping their anarchy symbol because things are about to get high octane, especially with that Ying in play. See if they're actually able to get to the site and get this execute off. This is the thing that I'm fearful with right now, John. They don't have any hard destruction. That's something that we, again, saw Empire use to break up a lot of these lines of sight, but it's not even that. I obviously understand that Coastline doesn't require that. The problem is the fact that they're using Miras so very well right now, as well as the utility surrounding that I don't think that Furia bringing the Ying are actually going to be able to get to the site, and that's my main concern. If Rare is not able to actually get his job done, or it's, you know, a 3v4, there's a lot of risky things that can currently happen with what they're trying to do, and we'll just have to see how it works out. They've got insight now as to what the setup is, at least for Theater, so what do they do with this Mira?
Going to be finding out more than likely over the next few seconds. Furia is priming up to put some pressure onto the inside of that master bedroom area by dropping into bathroom more than likely. Joystick, of course, stealing away one of the drones from Furia, going to be able to use that quite well and gather some intel on the outer hallway. Just another camera for him to utilize. Now he only has to immediately pay attention to the rooms going outside. Problem is, though, doesn't have a dead teammate to watch that drone for him, so still has to play double duty to a certain extent to make sure he doesn't get overwhelmed. That'll still happen, though. Lenda taking him out. They'll still have that drone down on the ground, even with him dying, until Furia spots that out, so they'll have intel on the rotates coming up from Cool Vibes until it gets noticed by Furia.
Well, so far so good from Furia. They're at least able to get map control down low. That'll prevent the Nitro Cell play if they do go for hookah. We'll have to see down the line if that is going to be the case. But as of right now, they got that full top floor, able to lock down the staircases and start working on this flooring, more than likely for highs. But he doesn't seem to be in position as of right now. But either way, still going to be working on this top floor as Miracle moves in down low, just looking for anyone possibly on site. Obviously, highs still down low as well. Does still have 2 frag grenades, but the issue being that they really only have 2 drones, and those seems to be on flank watch. Empire still with very solid positioning around the B bomb site here for hookah. So the Mira on the, well, what used to be the rotate that we would see set up by default, but a Mira window so very strong inside of those scenarios where people trying to push deep inside of hookah. And as of right now, Empire just waiting for the next strike from Furia.
Empire thriving in their passive play right now, not needing to make a move. Furia seeming very hesitant to try and throw any of their own aggression in. Part of the reason for that might be exactly what Sam was talking about at the beginning of this game here, where they wanted to save the Ying for the execute, and more than likely, the large majority of their player count, because they've had very hit or miss results when trying to play for a separate roam clear. We're going to see the first bit of those Candelas start to work their way into the site. It's not going to work, though. Dan immediately fending this off. Highs will get a trade. The last Candela in on the top of Cool Vibes, but will it make the difference? Rare goes for the planet tap. Let's find out. Miracle with another kill. Always, though, catching the rotate from back downstairs inside of Sunrise. Oh, no! Dan somehow is not able to deny the planter, and it goes down. We've moved into the post-plant phase of this round here, and all of a sudden, Empire don't have as much of an advantage they had a few seconds ago.
Dan missed Rare's head by a literal pixel, but it seems like he's also found some area to use. He tries to run outside, but Furia prepared for it. Empire make the risky play, but it doesn't work out. Furia still inside of this one after able to clear out the bottom floor, but they actually end up giving up Sunrise, which allows Always to make a nice play to at least take out the Lion on Billiards double. But either way, Furia get a very well-timed plant off. I'm actually really surprised that they ended up getting that, especially with the plant spot. But obviously, like we were talking about before, Dan just missing by a hair there, so they'll definitely want that one back. But either way, they're not going back to hookah. Instead, they're going to double bar here. So let's see how Furia are able to procure this top floor.
FURIA seem to have found the winning strategy by bringing the Ying in and focusing more on the execute than the early round clear, gaining the map control and possibly a second or third entry angle to work into the site. More than likely, this is going to stick now since it did work, and they really have not had much success in any other department here, so going to have to try and pile on it. The problem is, this is a much more complicated site to try to crack into, and more importantly, line up a position where those Candelas are actually going to be able to be useful. This is because, look at the defense. We've got a Jaeger again. We've got those laser gates coming in on the Aruni. A lot of resistance going to be specifically over towards Poldor and probably to some extent the office assault as well. So finding an insertion point for that utility on FURIA may become a difficult task on the inside of this round.
And as well as Zaz, we've got Shepard on the Echo now as well. So some prevent being played here instead of, obviously, Smoke, who we saw banned out earlier on. And I'm assuming that's exactly why we're seeing Shepard go through this entire carousel of operators. This is actually his 4th op that he's played on defense here. As the last time they went to Blue and Sunrise, he was on the Wamai. So still sticking with the 1.5, but putting it on the MP5 SD instead.
Setup's been complete, or I should say is being completed with that final reinforcement going down. Just in the nick of time here, too. Players trying to set up the play behind that. EE1D charge is going to come out very quickly, as they've already been doing in previous rounds. And more than likely, the 2-man setup and kitchen going to get challenged very early on. Hard pings coming in either from the EE1D or another drone that was inserted to the inside of it. Highs ready to assault from the window. At least a 2-player team ready to move in from the service door. More drone intel coming out now. The first Candela moving in. This is a fast play. Have they realized the Jaeger's in the corner? Well, they haven't realized the joystick's sitting in the back of the site. That's the issue here. And now they have to worry about the other player inside of kitchen, too. Fency trades out onto Always, at least, but Dan's still here causing problems, and he's not the only one. Joystick getting his double now as he's able to take down Highs. Rare and Miracle left in a 2v4, fighting for survival in this matchup now, and Miracle already losing that initial battle as he goes down another 25 HP.
That's all for naught for FURIA as they think they have the entries, but what did it cost you, FURIA? Because as of right now, it looks like everything. Miracle trying to push forward. Scyther takes down one. Joystick delivers Miracle a bullet at the very end, and that's going to be all she wrote for FURIA. They try for the kitchen clear, but they overcompensate, not aware of the amount of utility in play for Empire.